Well, hello, and welcome once again to the Far From Normal radio show. And unfortunately tonight, our tag team partner here, Bud Vino, will be out. He's got some issues that are going on at home with some custody issues with a cell phone and things like that. We always say on the show that our children come first in this, even when we do the show in the live production. Every single week. So we wanted to make sure that he took care of those things. But if he was here, he would say, yo, 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 and yo. So that's a big shout out to Mr. Bud Vino. So it is May 22nd, 2018. And I definitely want to say hello to our sister from another Mr. Jessie Weiner. How are you doing?
Hey, Jay. Hey, Neely. I'm great. How are you guys?
Amazing. And also we're bringing in Neely. Let me unmute you here. I don't know if you got it mute. There you go. There you are. Neely, how are you doing this evening?
No. I'm doing great. I was going to use Bud's saying, yo, yo, yo. But I'm doing great.
That's great. That's great. I wanted to make sure that we came on this evening specifically because we had a lot of people who reached out to us at the DC event. We wanted to bring you as much as we possibly could with DC because it was just a amazing, fantastic event. I know that there were several people who were there. There were several people who probably wanted to attend and couldn't, and we wanted to bring as much to you as we could. If you could not attend that event, because it was the top. It was the top. I cannot say enough about Cheryl Strasberg and all the people that were behind that, helping Mark put that event together, because it was just amazing. How about you, Jessie? What do you think on that one?
So I've been involved with a lot of events. I've attended a lot of different things. I've led, different rallies and whatnot. And by far, this was the most empowering, uplifting event I've ever had the blessing to be a part of. I met people and reached out to people and connected to people that, gosh, all across the United States. It was really amazing. And it's just, you can get really burnt out in this movement. Florida, we don't have a lot of support down here. We don't have a lot of programs, and to just be refreshed. And I think Melissa said it best when she said, "I'm with my peeps." It was so true. We were a group of every race, every color, every nationality, whatever you want to say, from all over the United States, with one common goal. And we came together and we put on this great event, and it was just amazing. I left there like on a high that I can't even describe. And then I come back to normal life and I'm like, damn, what the hell happened?
Yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of a letdown once you get home, to a degree, because you're like, you had all of this support around you the whole time.
Yeah.
So that part of it is a little hard getting used to. Now that we've been back, we haven't even been back 12 hours, have we?
No.
You and I went to the airport at the same exact time, and you had a layover of about 2 hours?
Yeah, my flight was delayed about 2 hours and 30 minutes. It sucked, but I had a delicious margarita at the bar, and I wore my Real Women Support Father's Right shirt. So I spoke with 3 different ladies on there, Catherine, Elizabeth, and Michelle. I encouraged them to reach out to me, so it was worth it.
Exactly. And
where did you meet the ladies? Where were you saying you met the ladies, Jessie?
In the airport. In the airport, they saw my shirt and they're like, "What is this about?" So, and at the foundation of their stories is they are with somebody who is going through parental alienation, and I was able to kind of encourage them and to just let them know that there's some good things in the works. That change is here and it's coming, and it's coming with force, real force.
Yeah, and in the meantime, while we were in DC, I believe you, myself, Pete were able to make it to the event. And like I discussed before, it's kind of, I know Bud was going to be on his way, but he had some stomach ailment, and as we always say, things happen for a reason. Some real legitimate concerns came up for him this weekend, and he's taking care of those. I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll be back next week. But we just wanted to make sure our hearts are out to him, because it is difficult when you're going through some parental alienation and different things that are going on with that case, particular with Bud. He's won 50-50 custody already, but the ongoing battle continues still, even after that. But keep him in your thoughts and prayers, and I'm sure he will be back with us next week. But Neely, in the meantime, she had taken her husband out to Washington, and on the way back, you met up with Kirk Pendergrass, who we love and respect, and his show out there, Kirk's Law Corner. Check it out, definitely. You've got great guys on there, John Gentry, Chris Howlett, every single week, and they give some amazing law and different techniques to use and different platforms. So, Neely, how was your trip out there, and what did you experience in that case? Obviously, I mean, you can't talk about it too much, obviously, but with Kirk and getting to know him and everything, what was that like out there?
Well, I want to first say, I'm really, sorry that I missed it. I really wanted to be in Washington, D.C. I know that there had to have been so many people, but, I feel with everything that I know personally that's going on, there are big things happening. So sometimes, being behind the scenes is just as good. I'm glad y'all were up there and you represented, the show and for everybody else. So I want to ask a question. I wanted to know about how everybody's attitudes were at the place. Mm-hmm. I'd be interested to know that.
Yeah, I can tell you this is the event of all events when it came down to people who came in and they had dropped their egos at the door completely, and it was all about the movement and all about these kids and all about getting the message across, and how can we combine efforts, combine techniques, and collaborate with one another. I tell you, I've had my own personal issues, so to speak, where I have not agreed with Cash on a few different things. But we sat down, had a great conversation, worked those things out, and that's, the best thing to do. And I fully support him in his run for governor of the state of Illinois, and I completely hope that he wins, because there's a little thing when it comes down to winning a governorship is a little small, minute thing called an executive order.
Yeah.
Thought I'd mention that. So Illinois, still on the board for equal share parenting. There's different things going on with it, but we're not going to talk about it too much. We're going to keep it under the radar, so to speak. But so many people that you would think that they would come in with some type of an ego or chip on their shoulder, but they were just willing. Everybody was willing to drop anything and everything and work with everybody else, handshakes all around, hugs. And it was all about collaboration and effort to get these bills passed, to get the word out, even working with other stations or radio programs that are out in the movement. We were all about that. I know Pete and I had come on the last part of Brian Lee's radio show, and we had a great time doing it, and it was just wonderful. I believe there was 4 documentary filmmakers that were out there on the scene. I was part of 2 of those, so I was lucky enough to do that, and honored enough to do it. So Jessie, I know the same thing on your aspect. I mean, it was just total team I don't know if you, that's what I saw was team effort.
Yeah, total team.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. It was like everybody knew everybody, and if you didn't know somebody by the end of the weekend, you knew who they were.
Mhm.
And just connected with such great people. I mean, up and working with people and talking with people and strategizing on how to effectively pass equal time sharing. I mean, I just met some great guys, some great girls, able to just really, if there was something there, I sure as heck didn't know about it.
No. And I tell you, some of the people that you would have thought, okay, you know, stature wise, maybe, you know, there might be something, you know, that might rub people wrong. No, it wasn't. It was never that at all. For the first time, I've been to a few events, and I'll tell you, usually there's some kind of animosity somewhere, or someone comes back and there's a backbiting incident. Nothing on this one. It was all supportive. It was all a coalition. It was all about getting this done. And I give all the credit to Cheryl, who did a fantastic job organizing everything behind the scenes, never even really letting her name be known. And that was a great aspect. It wasn't about any fame or any popularity. She was just running like a chicken with her head cut off. And it was great. And because she was, Mark, I need this, Mark, I need that, and blah, 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 blah. And it was just seamless, it seemed like. It was fantastic, fantastically put on. Americans for Equal Share Parenting put this on without a hitch. So,
Awesome.
yeah. And I know, obviously, that we were able to network, Jessie, quite a bit. And we'll see that coming up in the future. I was able to meet and talk to some people who obviously have been added to the board of directors for the show. And I'm not talking just small time people. I mean, we're talking huge people that have done amazing stuff in this movement already. They're going to continue to, and it's huge things. And their pictures obviously were added to the start of our show. You'll see the different organizations that have backed us, and we can't do what we do on the show without these people. We ask them every week, hey, give us an update on our calendar of events so we can mention different events, and they always do. They're always willing to give us information, give us updates, give us anything that maybe we didn't say right, or correct us, or make sure that we're doing the right thing. Those are the people that we go to each and every week. And I'm proud of them, because any one of them could say, no, I'm just too busy right now, you know, with everything going on. And they don't. They stop and they take their time, and they really get involved with our show and how we put it on, and the production of it. So great that we were able to do that. And we're also able to add and network to some people coming up who will eventually be on the show. And it's just about networking and getting the right times down and getting it nailed down. But pretty large people that will be out there. And I wanted to mention definitely the speech. I don't know about you, Jessie, but the speech of the night for me was Yahya McClain.
That big guy had me in tears.
Tell me about it.
Well, actually, we could even cue it up here, but yeah, definitely tell them about this.
So he was just speaking about pure alienation, and there were some personal factors that kind of exacerbated his emotional stance at that point in time. And it was just so raw and so real and so unadulterated. It was just pure emotion on how much he longs for and misses his son, and the damage that it's doing not only to him, but the alienation from his son is tearing them both apart. It was just so raw and real. And I mean, to see this big guy in tears, and this guy who's supposed to be so big and tough, you know, this big bad Marine boxer, just reduced to tears, shows the true abuse of family courts, the true abuse that these females or these alienators, however you want to put them, are just what they're doing to these parents. It's so unfair.
Mm-hmm.
It's so unfair. And he just, he had a lot of support in the room, probably more support than most would have out there. And I was just strongly encouraged by him and his fight, and every alienated parent that's out there that is so close to their child, they can literally touch them, but can never touch them. It breaks my heart. It just truly breaks my heart. And it was a remembrance of why we do what we do. You know, even for the crappy court order where you have 4 days a month and dinner on Wednesdays is better than having nothing at all. And I saw the pure just longing for your child in this man's eyes, and it really broke my heart.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody who was in the room, if you were in the room and you had any feelings at all, you were in tears. And you'll see why I tell you it's so difficult afterwards here, but I'm gonna play a little clip here for you. Let me see if I can get this.
It was,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, really one of the most emotional moments of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, like he said, I'm a former 2-time world champion boxer. I'm gonna just tell you a quick story on how I came to this. So, I'm from New York, from Jamaica, Queens. If ever anyone knows this rough neighborhood. My father was killed when I was 3 years old. My mother raised 2 boys by herself. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I'm a former 2-time world champion boxer. So basically, I've been fighting all my life. But this fight that I'm losing, that we all are losing in the family law court system, is by far the worst scenario that I've ever found myself in. And so, as I went through my divorce, and I'm going to court, lawyered up, and nothing's going my way. And I'm being called a pedophile.
Yeah. And that was just a small clip of it, but I'll tell you, he mentions and talks about the fact that his son lives in DC, and he's in DC and can't even see his son.
Yep.
And it was just, that was gripping for everybody, because not only that, but then if you saw that clip in the video, you'll see that we were up next to speak, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, how in the heck do you ever follow that kind of a thing up? I mean, it was a great speech. He had everybody who was on the stage for Casualties of War, and it was just an amazing event. And I'm gonna go ahead and while we're doing this here, I'm gonna make sure that I get a message out real quick to someone else who was definitely going to be on the show. And but yeah, it was just an amazing event. I cannot say enough about it. Jessie, I'm going to let you speak on his speech as well.
Who's that?
I'm not sure what that background noise is. I have no idea. Let me make sure I get back on here. Nope, I don't know what that background noise was.
Hey, Jessie,
speak on whose speech?
Did they talk about, did he talk about, you know, how long he had been alienated from his son in DC and when this all started?
No. So he had, you mean this time around?
Yeah.
He hasn't seen his son since January. Yahya McLean lives in Atlanta. His son lives in DC. And when he was speaking from the perspective that he had wholeheartedly believed he would see his son when he came up there, because he was so close. and just to see a father, to see a parent want to do nothing but see their child and not be able to is just, it's heart-wrenching for me. It doesn't matter whether you're a father, a mother, it doesn't matter. a parent has a responsibility to their child to do what's in their child's best interest and to ensure that that child has a relationship with both parents. And anything short of that is abuse and neglect.
Right.
Exactly. You're exactly right. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately I am not able to see the live feed. So if Jessie, if you're able to copy that link and you want to paste it into the into the live feed, definitely people can come on and chat with us about DC, because it's just I think it's an amazing event. We want to go ahead and make sure that we're collaborating with anyone and everyone that we can out there. So many people out there were at this event. So many people obviously were watching live. I believe I saw that the numbers were around 10K, which is fantastic. I know that we can reach 20K though. And I've always say that, even about our show, because it's always trying to reach more people. And once you stop trying to reach people and tell them exactly what's going on, then we lose our track, and this just becomes another radio show, or this just becomes just another movement. And I don't want it to be about that, because we don't need to compare ourselves to anyone. And how I get back to that is Jessie and I had a conversation with someone I can't even remember who it was. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but we met so many people and talked to so many people that it was ridiculous, honestly. But we talked to so many people, and what came up is the state of Illinois. And the state of Illinois has passed 50-50 shared parenting on pets.
What?
That discussion took place with Jesse West.
My.
Jesse West Sr., yes.
I thought he was kidding. And I'm going to call him out here because, first of all, over this past weekend, I freaking love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a trip. But so he told me this. Weren't we sitting at the restaurant in the airport?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we sure were.
And I was like, get the heck out of here. And then I was like, this guy, right? Because he also went on to tell me that the guy who sponsored the bill was the same representative who was sitting in the meeting when they talked about the equal time sharing bill, and who openly admitted that if they were to pass legislation giving kids equal time sharing with their parents, they would stand to lose millions in federal funding. This guy turns around, and then sponsors an equal time sharing pet bill. What a passive aggressive, just jerk move. And if I was in his face right now, he probably wouldn't like to see me, because that's just you're a jerk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I know I have Stephen Ball calling me. So Stephen, I'm actually on the live feed. So what I'm going to do here, if I can figure this out and make sure, I'm going to paste the link in here. Obviously, we've got Pete out tonight, and we've got Bud out tonight, so it's a little bit harder for me trying to do the shares as well. So you guys who are out there, definitely share this live stream video out there to as many people as you can. Unfortunately, okay, you know, even Brian Lee here is definitely trying to get a hold of us. So amazing stuff on that bit. And I know when we did the Brian Lee show after show, Pete and I went in there. Philly Slim was in there. Yaya McLean was on as well. And we sent an invite out to Yaya. Just don't know what he has going on tonight for sure. But amazing speech by him. Amazing speech by Cash Jackson, who was there. Amazing speech by Dr. Jim Bedell as well. And in-depth research of parental alienation and different aspects. And of course, Melissa Isaac. Melissa has done some things where they've set up a actual home in Alabama where they have completely gutted out the entire home, and they have set it up very, very nicely so that when there's visitation aspects going on, a father can have his visitation within that home. And that's just so completely amazing, as well as the the mental aspect. They have one person set up specifically to help and to talk about your issues and talk about your problems. We need more attorneys like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I have met him face to face, and let me tell you, Jay, he is as supportive as Melissa spoke of him. He is just that in real life. He is such a kind, compassionate, encouraging, individualized, strength-based man who truly wants our dads to be successful. He's been there, he's done it, and he's an all-around great guy. I think I've met him on both of my trips to Alabama, or both of my trips last year to Alabama, and let me tell you, he's a great guy.
Yeah, and I think there were just so many people there, and I tell you, Nicholas Dreesen was there. LaShawn K. Ford was another one. When you're hearing from a representative of a state that tells you he's fully behind 50-50 custody, share parenting with a rebuttal presumption, and to change the standard of evidence to clear and convincing, when you have a representative who's telling you this, that's something to listen to. Because if they know that there's an issue, and unfortunately in our state, in the state of Illinois, LaShawn is here, but it was a Democrat-sponsored bill. So we had issues with Republicans who were not nodding onto the bill. Well, Republicans, aren't you supposed to be all about families and unity and trying to do the right thing and have the Christian conservative base behind you? What is this? I'm quite surprised at the conservative base in the state of Illinois. It's become the political game of, I've got to go with the bar association because that's where the money's at, and it's unfortunate. The state of Florida, where Jessie's from, you're dealing with some of that aspect a little bit as well, because you've got the governor, of course. The bill was brought before the governor for 50-50 custody. So many people were behind it, and the governor vetoes it.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I've got to sit back and I've got to wonder who is getting paid by whom. And if who is getting paid by whom, when you go and you look these particular instances up, there's Rule 211.3. 211.3. Look it up if you don't believe me. Rule 211.3 of the American Bar Association says if a judge or his family receives money on a particular case, if there is a judge that receives money, the family receives money or gifts of any entitlement, then that judge is disqualified as a judge. Well, that's every case in America. Every case in America.
Does that mean that he's disqualified from just that case, or he's disqualified from in his courtroom? He has to disqualify himself from the courtroom.
He has to disqualify himself on the case itself when it's brought up. Now you have to bring that up. You have to say, hey, look, because you received Title 4D funds, and I can prove that you received Title 4D funds, which is very easy to do. Remember, go out to your local newspaper, find out what your judge was hired for the state, and go out to Ballotpedia. It will say two different amounts on what the judge makes as opposed to what the judge makes in the newspaper. That difference of amount is the Title 4D incentives. Title 4D incentives, my local judge makes $84,000 a year in federal incentives.
Just one judge. Just that one judge.
One judge.
But how do you trace that back, Jay? Okay, you can tell the salary difference, which is great. But how do you actually trace that money back to Title IV?
Well, you would trace that back by going necessarily through the Bar Association. So you're going to go through the Bar Association's minutes and notes, and some of those are hard to find. we'll go ahead and put links up in the future here to show you exactly where to find those. But you can definitely trace this. It's very easy to follow the money trail, but you've got to go all the way through with the money trail. That's the big thing. The money trail is your yellow brick road, so to speak. So when you can find all of that and you can go from point A to point B, and then go all the way down and trickle the money straight down to that judge receiving those funds, you reveal it in court. Hey, look, you've received these entitlements, right? You've received Title 40 funds, right? And another case that would prove that definitely is Blessings versus Freestone. When we're talking about some of the entitlement that goes to Title 4D, some of the entitlement goes to Title 4A that pays the welfare system. Some of those things can be trickled down completely to the judge, and you can trace them. Some of them you're going to miss a little bit of steps, but as long as you're willing to say and willing to go to the portion of saying, hey, you were hired for this much. Why does Ballotpedia show that it's this much? And you're basically telling me that now you're receiving federal entitlements. That's a gift, right? And if you can get the judge to say, yeah, I'm receiving entitlements, it's a gift for doing my job, or it's a bonus for doing my job. So now you're telling me you're being bonused, you're being paid for this federal incentive, you're being paid to make a biased decision. Okay, well, that's fraud upon the court. 18 USC 241, 18 USC 242, which entitles you to a civil rights lawsuit under 42 USC 1983, 84, or excuse me, 83, 85, and 86. So those are the precedents, and that's why I always tell people those exactly where those are, because when you trickle those things down, you find those things out, it's very imperative that you get them out there and put the judge on the spot. Hey, are you receiving these? If so, and you're receiving these, you're disqualified as a judge. I've even told my judge in the case, I told him, I said, you're disqualified as a judge. You know that, right? So he knows it's pending.
I was good.
When you said that, like, you're disqualified, get off the bench.
I told him, I said, you're disqualified as a judge. You've received entitlements through Title 4D. Here's the facts. I followed the money trail. Here's what you're receiving. And he says, well, we're not this and we're not that. But no. You're telling me, number one, that you're a quasi court. You're a quasi court. What is a quasi court? That means that you're combining the powers. You're saying legislative and executive branch and judicial branch. You're combining those powers, number one, by saying you're a quasi court. It means you're half this and half that, which basically means that your ruling, right, which basically means that your ruling is half-assed, is what you're telling the American public. So, and I'm going to be blunt on it because that's what it is. It's a half-assed ruling by a half-assed court, and we call them kangaroo courts for a reason, because they do nothing but bounce people left and right, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, go ahead.
And they want to get you, what I want to let people know, all the viewers that are watching that are still dealing with court and being in court right now, is they want to get you in and keep you in this loop and keep you, make you answer this motion to an amended motion. You know what I'm saying? They're all going when you made a great point, Jay. You need to follow the money trail. You need to find out if they received entitlements, unlawful emoluments, and ask them. Tell them you're disqualified. I am letting you know, you're using an unlawful emolument. It's against our form of government and our republic, our form of government, which is also called treason. I mean, you don't want to go into that, but just let them know. And I'm putting this on record. I'm telling you this. You're disqualified. You need to let them know. So for all the viewers out there, don't get into this, this cycle with them. Just put it to a stop and stand your ground, stand your right, and call it a day. And come watch us. We'll help you get through it.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
I love how she said. I love how you say that, Neely. You're like, this is just treason.
Yeah.
You are stealing from the American people as elected officials, and you just think this is okay. No, it's really not. Really, it's not.
No, it's not.
Well, it's sad. It's honestly, to me, it's kind of pathetic. I'm kind of pissed off. I'm 31 years old, and here, I've been living all this time not knowing things, and now I've awoken because I did have to deal with losing my daughter and not talking to her for 5 years. But I'm gonna still keep on my course because I have to fight for my daughter. So when she has a child, this would never happen to her. Right. And love for a mom, is not going away, and a love for a dad too. But mothers carry children. So we do have there is different kinds of, things with mothers and fathers. But they're not going. My daughter's always going to love me. They think that they're going to take her away. Sorry for your luck. It's not going to work. But that's what's been able to keep me on my fight, and that's important. It's important for people to know the truth. And I'm glad we're finding it out. So. Yeah,
that's definitely true. And, I'm going to make sure that I try and share this to the group as I'm kind of talking on this, but there's so many different aspects that go through this movement, and it was so great to have so much different representation there as well, because we had grandfathers, we had grandmothers, we had aunts and uncles that ended up showing up to this event, and they were not only empowered but educated on the system and some of the ways that we're going to attack the system in the future. You can't give your entire game plan out, obviously, but it's all about building relationships with legislators, building relationships with each other, and networking, and how can we get the word out to those who feel that they're not affected by the system, to let them know that they truly are affected by this system every day that they go out there and they get a paycheck. When you get a paycheck every week, and you see that there's two different Social Security fees. One of those fees specifically is where they start drawing the Title 4D funds from, and why you're paying such an exorbitant amount of Social Security is because you're paying these states back the money that you're earning from the state, so to speak, and then basically what ends up happening is because they collected so many funds from collecting child support for the state disbursement units. What they do is they get charged, they basically get charged $5.33 from the federal government per dollar.
Let me clarify on that. So what it actually is for every federal dollar that's invested into the Title 4D funding system, and this isn't E or A or anything else, this is just Title 4D, there's a return of $5.33 at the federal level. Yes. Then you have the state level. So for every dollar that's invested at the state level, there's also another return of that. So for Florida, it's $6.31. And I only know the number because this is where I live. But for Texas, get this, you ready? Texas is, for every dollar invested, it's $11.21 return.
Oh, $11.
$11.21.
$11.21.
Yes.
So the state of Texas is a bunch of high rollers And
they bring in about $72 million a year in Title 4D funding incentive. I don't have the exact number with me at this very moment. But yeah, I think New Mexico was $3.21, if I remember. That was either New Mexico or Washington. It's one of the states. So the state return varies according to the state and the recoupment and the investment. And also along with that, you have to add in the administrative support that the states get from the federal level, because they get a portion of their federal expenditures is compensated by the state. The state expenditure is compensated at the federal level. So Florida got, I think, $2.5 million last year. Also, the states are making a profit off of what they call an expenditure fee, because they swipe the credit card. So Florida made $1.24 million last year just to swipe people's credit cards.
mm.
I've always heard that it's better to use cash. hey,
if you don't want the state making money off of your payment, then use cash. But anyway.
Dave Ramsey tells you that too, if you take his financial course.
Yep. Yeah, and if you're paying that, number one, and then on top of this, some people don't know, but there's certain states, especially Illinois being one of them, that the clerk of the courts charge you to keep your records on file. Keep your records on file.
And they charge you $1 for every page, but give you the receipt for free.
Which that makes no sense. If you're going to charge me to make copies, you might as well charge me for the receipt as well, I guess. But
listen, I asked them last time I went there and I got some copies and they were giving me the receipt and it was on a whole page paper. I said, well, can't you just keep that receipt and then give me one page for the credit of that receipt? And she looks at me like, huh? And I'm like, well, I have to pay $1 per page per copy and you're going to give me this whole receipt on this page that I don't even want. I said, can't you just give me one copy and credit of that? She's like, no. I was like, why? She had nothing to say. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. And it's so unbelievably crazy that I just don't see how legislators are not getting it. And I know that they are. Let's be honest. We know that they are. And
they are.
How is it though that we make it so undeniable that they have to do something in particular? And I think the only thing and only solution that I can come up with is if a group of people becomes so united and so huge and so large that they have no other alternative but to talk and get to the table and do something. And I think that's happening now as we speak, but I think it can happen even bigger in the future. So we want to keep the pressure on as much as possible. We want to flank them from all positions, like we've already talked about, whether that's emoluments, whether that's constitutional law, whether that's going the route of legislation and trying to get things taken care of, or whether that's going after something else or whatever it may be. Surrounding our enemies. Mark talked about it very eloquently in one of his speeches. If we flank those particular enemies around us, we have a much better opportunity of at least one of us getting through, rather than all of us going, I'm gonna target Title 4D, and everybody's got to target Title 4D, and that comes into the understanding of why we cannot continue to start fighting over issues where somebody doesn't agree with you in this movement. You've got to come to a point where you realize it's better off if you can agree to disagree, go our different routes, come together, and let's meet in the middle when we're done.
Exactly.
Well, go ahead, Neely.
Oh, no, you can go ahead, Jessie. I was just saying, agreeing with Jay.
Mm-hmm. I think excuse me, even more simpler way to put it, because I kind of ran into this situation this weekend, is this is impersonal.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing about this movement that is personal. It doesn't matter what shoes you're wearing, what socks you're wearing, what color underwear you're wearing, who your name is, what you do, what organization you're affiliated with. You take the personal out of it, because when you don't, that's when we fail and we make ourselves look like giant bumbos. And then we empower the other side of this. These now organizations and whatnot, they use this as a weakness to attack us and to make us look like we're crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm not for that. I didn't sign up for that portion. If you can't take your emotion out of it, then you need to get out of this movement, because it's not for you. Because that means it's self-serving, not selfless. And only in being selfless can we truly serve our children.
That's exactly correct, and that's exactly what we allude to what happened this weekend, and so many people dropping their egos at the door, and it wasn't just about them. It wasn't, it wasn't Philly Slim saying, "Hey, you have to do no excuses, and if you're not part of this, you can't, I'm not going to accept you." It was completely drop the ego at the door, and be all about it.
So funny. So Jay, I'm walking up the hallway, right? I come out the hotel and I'm walking up the hallway, and I see these three guys in the hallway, and they're trying to take a picture of themselves, right? And it's not working, because these are, Philly Slim may be a little older guy, but the other one was tall and then one was bigger. And I was like, hey, let me help you out. I was like, you want me to take a picture? And they're like, a little standoffish in the middle, probably of somewhere they've never been. And then they got to read my t-shirt, and they're like, oh, are you coming? And I was like, yeah. So it just took one split second for them to realize that, hey, this chick is on the team.
Right.
To embrace me and just bring a form of unity that I haven't seen before. I don't know if it's because it hasn't been in person in this magnitude that it was, or maybe it was a different connection, a different atmosphere, just a whole different, what do you call that? Not an atmosphere, but just a whole different aura, whatever it is.
Right.
But it was completely different. And this Billy Slim guy, he was just great, And I was concerned with my tattoos, because I have my whole leg done. So I was like, yeah, I found myself a guy over here.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll tell you, it was so great to see. People dropped those egos at the door, but not only were they dropping them at the door, they were coming with actual constructive solutions or help, or, hey, you might want to try this, or hey, you might, even Cash had suggested different logos and different effects for us, and what we can do in the future with different things and different aspects. So people were helping other people left and right with different suggestions on how we can go about different things and how we can go in different ways and get the word out, no matter who or what group or whatever you were affiliated with. It was all empowering, all structured in a way that was conducive. It was just a very conducive environment, the way it was set up.
I had some great conversations with Zach Martin from the Illinois for Father Equality. Am I saying that correctly?
Illinois Fathers for Equality, yes.
Fathers for Equality, and Tom Pischke, and the state representative, House of Representative over there, or state representative, sorry. And then also with Jessie West Sr. He was just so, just these guys, and sitting around just having a good conversation with them, and really having breakout sessions individually and unintentionally, but so powerfully. It was great. It was
absolutely. Well, it looks like we've got.
I
remember when I met Philly Slim at the Million Parent March last year, and I still have his card, by the way. But because it was like, but I at that Million Parent March, everyone had so much power, a year ago. And I met Mark there too, actually. And we just crossed, but I see how much it's grown, you know what I'm saying, since that. It's like everybody wanted to, but everybody was just at that march, and then everything was happening so fast. but so many people showed up, and it's cool to see how much now everybody is now coming up with different solutions and listening to each other. And, no matter what, everybody's talking about new things and having open minds, and, again, for our viewers, just reach out to, get involved some way. One of us, we're here for you. We'll point you in that direction. Like there was on last night's show on Kirk's Law Corner, a guy from Montana was running for, I think it was the House of Representatives he's running for, and he was on board. I don't know when they vote in Montana, but. So.
Yeah, and looks like we've got actually Larah Thomson in here. Larah, how are you doing this evening?
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Awesome. You were there at the event.
Hi, everybody.
And you were there at DC, and when I first saw you, it looked like you hadn't slept in about 48 hours, but you were there and you were ready to roll, and it was just amazing event, wasn't it?
Yep, it was really, really special. And we've had a lot of discussion about that. Excuse me while I plug myself in. I realized that it's probably a good idea so I don't crash and burn on you. Yeah. It's funny because I have a ton of different perspectives because I'm with Philly Slim, as his almost like an entourage of types. I still haven't recovered, by the way, so this is why this is. I'm still working. Oh my God!
I landed less than 20 hours ago. Okay, I spent the day like rushing around like a mad lady, getting this stuff I need so I can start a new job, putting dinner together, trying to finish my laundry, and then the show. Oh, I don't even know. I'll probably sleep in a few days.
Right. Well, I'm still in that zone, but I have so much to share because it was just so brilliant. And obviously, Jay and Jessie were representing. I'm sorry, Neely, you missed us.
I know.
There, girlfriend. Where were you? I'm sure you got enough, Cal, so I'm not going to go on with that. But I mean, the skill set and the speakers, I mean, Mark Ludwig, you blew it out of the park, true. You probably already talked about this. I don't even know. Yeah. Okay, I just came on. Yeah. I'm done with my work week, kind of, because we've got Memorial Day coming up. I have graduation for my baby tomorrow.
Oh, awesome.
I can't even believe. Hello. The baby graduates. I think anyone who's an alienated parent understands that the chains are broken. This is time of renewal, people. Big time. So I'm very, very excited. But don't look at me. Just hear me. Because this is a radio program. Okay, number one, you guys killed it with representing Far From Normal Radio. I mean, professionalism. You're available for everybody that wanted to.
Oh, it looks like we somehow lost her.
Uh-oh.
Well, maybe we did lose her. I don't know.
Maybe her
she comes
phone
back
did
on.
crash and burn.
I think it may have crashed and burned. That phone just went down under there, Larah. You'll get it when you realize that she's an Aussie. So, but she was amazing there. And we met with a huge, when I was talking about one of these producers of the different films that are coming out. Michael Combs, yeah, definitely Michael Combs. That's what his name was. I'm horrible with names, by the way. So when you introduce yourself, send me a message and make sure that you knew you told me that you introduced yourself, because I'm horrible with it. But Michael Combs did a documentary, and we'll be doing this documentary, and it's called Cash and Prizes. And the interesting thing about how this was set up is and cameras all around. I mean, it was an amazing setup. First off, and this is going to go major, nationwide, worldwide type of documentary. But in this documentary, we're talking about aspects that go into how this system is created to be a cash and prizes type system that's set up for our judiciary in order to make a whole lot of money, for the attorneys and the Bar Association to make a whole lot of money, the legislators to make a whole lot of money by allowing these things to pass through. And who pays the price is our children. I think it puts a price tag on every child in America. And I think this video is going to be so telling, so touching, the different aspects that are out there, because honestly too, I believe that Melissa Isaac was in there for approximately 2 hours. So you're going to get an attorney's perspective on this upcoming documentary. I was in there talking about different veterans aspects. Larah was in there talking from a mediator's perspective on the different things. You're going to get, there were a few other people definitely that were in there. LaShawn K. Ford from a legislator's perspective. So
I
you're going to get
think one of the important things, Jay, too, is to kind of, reiterate is Michelle just isn't an attorney, and when she shares her perspective on things, it isn't just as a bought paid for attorney. It's as somebody who isn't afraid to, stand up for what's right and what's just and within the confines of the law, because
right.
At the end of the day, if it's legal and lawful, she will call it out. And that's the amazing difference between her and an attorney.
That's exactly right. And there's different aspects that come up here. It looks like maybe we'll be getting back Larah here. Let me unmute her. Hey, Larah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
That was my fault.
Oh, okay.
I put myself into a surge battery backup,
thinking
that was the right thing to do, and it wasn't. So I'm sorry.
That's all right. But definitely, you were talking about the different people that were there, and so much amazing stuff went on.
Wow! I mean, it was outstanding. The level of persons that were there. You talked about some of them already. And you mentioned cash and prizes, which Michael Combs and I are working on together. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sure can.
Okay. So I'm going to look at my camera here.
Yes.
So what I was doing to help Michael is in Colorado, and we're working together, is I'm a connector, obviously, as a mediator too. What I'm trying to do is find the best of the best. Thank you for joining us, Jay.
Well, I don't know that I was,
representing.
You went down on the totem pole for me. I don't know about that. No, but I had a great time doing it. It was wonderful to be able to represent veterans and the different aspects that are going on.
Well, and I want to tell you just how far this is going with Michael Combs. We have discussions on a daily basis, and they all are around statistics. This is going to be statistically based. It's going to be only about facts. Some people have failed to do that in some of their work, and this is going to be mind-blowing. Okay, that's why I'm so excited about the project, which is why I'm assisting wherever I can, being in this terrible process, to quote Philly Slim, this mental molestation, which I think is a really hard word to use, but it's pretty, from everybody's, from whether you're a veteran, whether you're affected by CPS, or whether you're being terrorized by the family court. I think everybody actually feels this. It's just hard to talk about. We're going to be talking about the really hard stuff.
Oh, it looks like I may lose her.
Which is Michael Combs. That was Michael Combs. That was Michael Combs.
That was Michael Combs calling.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's constant. That's the fourth time we've spoken today.
Well, tell him to come on. Hey, just tell him.
Oh, you know what? Maybe he will. I can. I'll text him in the break. But
yeah, that's in the link. Yeah,
let's do that. I mean, maybe. I mean, if everybody wants that.
Sure.
But it's fascinating for me because it brings in everything I've learned for the last 14 years in regards to the family court and CPS, juvenile courts, and my mediation work, and it's putting everything together. It's so therapeutic, but it's also brilliant. It's fabulous. I can connect him with every single person that he needs to be chatting to, including you, Jay, and our other friends who are part of Far From Normal, okay, that I've heard speak on your show, and I know they're an expert in this, which is brilliant, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's so important, and it was just
and I know that one of the stats for sure that he's looking for, we can use our great statistician over here, Jessie Weiner, to get, because I know that the great aspect that he wants to present in this as well happens to be the fact of what happens after the child support runs out for who is the receiving party.
Right? And fascinating.
Yeah. And it looks like, Jessie, you went there. You're muted for some reason there. Let me see. There we go.
44% of them continue to live in long-term poverty. After they're gone and the welfare runs out, they continue to live in a rate of poverty of 44%.
Right. So basically what you're saying is they have depended to grow on a dependency of the system.
Yes.
So,
and the other interesting fact, or the other interesting avenue of this to look at, is also this. We look at the mother sitting on welfare as, you know, sitting in the you know, projects, right? We look at her sitting in this projects, this 600 square foot apartment, you know, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, a kitchen, no dining room, you know, living room and dining room, you know, you get the gist of what I'm saying, right?
Right.
That's not the true representation of poverty, because let me tell you, they're living on the beach in these, and I'm not exaggerating you. I can drive you down to Gulf Harbors and show you multiple women out there living on the beach in 2-story homes on Section 8, paying nothing per month, right? Nothing. They are actually receiving utility checks and blah, blah, blah. But in the meantime, while they're living on all these welfare-based programs, they are also enrolling themselves in school where they're receiving tens of thousands of dollars a year in financial aid, Pell Grants, student loans. And I don't mean just Neely. I don't want to, you know, offend mothers, because that's not what I'm saying. But
well, grandparents. There's a lot of grandparents that are doing the same thing too.
There is absolutely correct, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because they are. So they're living off all these welfare, right? And they're collecting cash the whole time, this whole time, because the 48 months in Florida, that's not true. What they do is they roll them over into another program where they can receive another 48 months. So then you have 8 years of funding you can receive. So you're receiving tens of thousands of dollars in financial aid every year, right? 84% of our children are on psychotropic. 80% of our children are on psychotropic medication, and 84% are diagnosed with a health condition. I don't know the exact statistic, but I would guarantee, I would bet my life on it that that 80% on medication is also receiving Social Security. So that's $700 a month right there. And then you tie in your food stamps, your housing assistance, your utility check, your gas card you're getting every week from Career Central. Are you with me? Oh, plus the reimbursement that Career Central will give you for your classes while you're receiving financial aid and student loans. So these women are aging out of the system because their children become 18, but they have master's degrees. They have bachelor's degrees, right? They have these degrees that they've successfully completed. They just choose to not implement them and enter into the workforce until all the welfare has come to an exhaustive end. They have no other choice. Right.
Yeah, so, and that does happen. And I've even seen in some particular instances where the grandparents And I love grandparents out there. Don't get me wrong. I love grandparents' rights. I love the opportunity for grandparents to pass down their heritage to their kids. But there are some grandparents out there taking advantage of the system, and they are taking over custody, care, and control of the children, and then they're putting the children who are adversely affected on some drugs or whatever, and turning them into Social Security by saying,
Yep.
"Oh, they have bipolar or something like that," and in order to get benefits for the child that they receive. And I think that that's horrible. We're seeing that more and more and more, and people using other people to get government benefits. Well, when you should get your ass out and work and get a job and not have to worry about it.
Absolutely.
So the grandparents, you're telling me the grandparents are doing what the attorneys have been doing all along.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a surprise.
The abusive and exploitive ones. Yes. I know, I don't know the Florida stats off the back of my hand, but Alabama, and I know because I just looked it up for a related interest, but Alabama got $11 billion in federal incentive money paid to families in the foster care system. These are relative, they refer to it as relative care benefits. $11 billion. That's insane. $11 billion to traffic our children. When we look at the state of Florida is not a pass-through state. I don't know about Alabama, but what I mean by that is if you're receiving relative care benefits in the amount of $500 a month, but the father and mother or mothers in that case are paying $1,000 a month accumulatively in child support, Florida doesn't pass that $1,000 onto the family, nor does it pass that $500 excess over the $500 to that family. It keeps it. Are you with me?
Yeah, they definitely do.
So it's keeping $500 of those parents' money, and that's okay to this state.
Yeah, and
this is what. Sorry, Jay.
Yeah, you're fine.
This is what I would like to know statistically in each state. It would be interesting to know how many children were actually not sick or, weren't on some psych drug, before this happened.
Right.
We're raising we are raising our kids in America they're going to have double the problems, in the futures to come. We're already seeing all these problems right now, anyway, with, these shootings and all this stuff going on. We're already seeing this. It's only going to get worse. I mean, they're,
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. And I'm going to say, we'll answer that question here right after the break, actually. So I'm going to share this with you here real quick, and we'll get into our birthdays. And I'm going to actually take that over this evening because Neely is on the road and didn't get a chance to print those off because she is. And so I'm going to take those over this evening here real quick, but we're going to lead you into the second hour.
Have you ever felt? Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
And we are back on the Far From Old Radio Show, and we're going to go ahead and get into our calendar of events and birthdays here. Let's see here. We've got May the 24th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Statutory Review Committee of Georgia Commission of Child Support, 104, I guess it's 104th Street Northwest in Atlanta, Georgia. 30303. So see Georgia Reform for more information. May the 26th, we've got Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. coming up this weekend. The Decatur Public Library in the A.E. Staley's room, Child Hero and Big Hero meeting and the movie. I believe that there'll be an honorary issue here for one of the participants out there, because this person's been incarcerated, been through everything, but they've kept motivated and they've kept moving, and so they're going to honor them at that event as well. Definitely go to that if you are available, if you're in the Decatur, Illinois area. May the 30th, which is a Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Americans for Equal Share Parenting. Shared parenting meeting at Westland City Hall, 36300 Warren Road, Westland, Michigan. I know I'm going to have some people calling in, so hopefully they'll be on the line here shortly here. And I'll get you guys shortly, I promise you. But I'm going to keep reading this calendar of events real quick. May the 30th, also 10 a.m., Stand Against Parental Alienation Rally with Bruce Nathan. That will be at the Orange County Courthouse in Orlando, Florida. See Bruce Nathan for more details. June the 1st, Friday, 12 p.m. at DHS Highway 90 Bay, St. Louis, Mississippi. There will be an event there. Please see Amber Thomson for more details. June the 6th, which is a Wednesday, parental alienation petition delivery to the APA. Public updates, 8 a.m., Washington District of Columbia. Shared Parents United Worldwide. That was shared by Lori L. Nicholson. See her for more details. June 8th, which is a Friday, Nashville March on the Tennessee Capitol, Candlelight Vigil. That's at 2 p.m., Nashville, Tennessee. Please see Ed Elliott for more details. All right, so we'll move into the birthdays here. Today we've got Joyce Catalano, Liberty Hayes, our good buddy out there, Thomas Fiddler, celebrating his birthday today. Wish him a happy birthday. Lee Dreyer, Mark Sullivan, Felicia Crowder, Christian Ponce, Diane Walker, Herbert Hall, Felix Rodriguez, Pamela Camp. Wednesday, we've got Stephen Klauderfelt. We've got Lana Beebe. We've got Rach Bell, Jennifer Stallone. Thursday, we've got Providence DT out there, who's been on the show. Amazing. We've got Angela Craig Wiley, Veronica Hubbard, Celia Fontnot, Daniel Dickinson. Friday, we've got Tanya Hill, Anastasia Myers, Saturday, we've got Tim Kinley, Jim Whalen, Adrian Alexander, and Diane Jones. Sunday, we've got Amelia Durant, Rebecca Link, Tracy Forrester, Danielle Hirsch, Peter D. Mansky, and Richard Hoffman. Monday, we've got Scarlett Lease, Deborah Cox, Tamala Monroe. So, as we always say, the Far From Normal Radio Show is copywritten, and copying and transcription of the broadcast of the show is strictly prohibited without the express written consent of the Far From Normal Radio Show staff and board of directors. So thank you guys, and to all of you, a very, very, very happy birthday from the Far From Normal Radio Show. So we are back with our guest, Larah Thomson, as well, and I'm sure we're going to get some more out here. Let me go ahead and promote the panelist as we're on here. All right. As soon as we hear the ding-dong, there we go. All right. So we've got Brian Lee. Brian, how are you doing, brother? If you can hear us. Hopefully you can hear us. There he is.
Yeah,
Brian,
can you hear me?
Yes, I should.
What's going on?
What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot. I got to go back to my store. I left my wallet.
So was going to ask everybody who was at the event. Excuse me, I got some net going around here. I don't know what's going on. Was going to ask everyone, how do you feel the event went in DC, and what were your thoughts of everything that took place there?
Oh, I'm telling you what, dude, it was so monumental that I'm still shaking from it. No, it was definitely a great event. A lot of great guest speakers. A lot of great information was being passed out, not only by the guest speakers, but by other people too. You know, they had a couple doctors down there too that were also doing a book. Give me 1 second. I actually got to lock my door.
All right.
But you know, there was a doctor. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But
Dr. Jim Bedell.
There was Dr. Jim Bedell. There was
Yeah.
Dr. Mark Rosenthal.
Mm-hmm.
The one that had the book there that he was signing for everybody.
Mark.
Yeah.
Mark Rosenthal.
Dr. Mark. Dr.
Yes,
Mark had a book.
he actually ran out of books. So he's actually going to send me a signed copy later on.
Right. And if I can recall right, I believe that he said that he was doing sales for the book, and he was going to give all of the proceeds to Americans for Equal Share for the event.
So his name was Dr. Mark Roseman, and he is actually out of Florida, and he runs a place called the Toby Center. And he actually reached out to me today, so I'm super excited about that because he's in the West Palm Beach area, which isn't too incredibly far from me. And I'm really looking forward to collaborating with him.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely. I spoke to him for a good 20 minutes after the event, and
Yes.
he's definitely wanting to talk more, especially about the Nancy Schaefer.
Yes, that's as well true. And I believe Larah Thomson is holding up the book there. I'm going to put her on speaker view. Laura, go ahead and talk for a second.
Well, hi.
Hi, Larah.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Brian. So, Preserving Family Ties is the book. Dr. Mark David Roseman is a PhD, CFLE. He signed my book. Bam.
Show us.
You see the book there. That's amazing there. I'm going to go ahead and go back to
Amazing. Yeah, really special times together. And he was brilliant. I made sure to get him in front of a bunch of different people because he was just, I mean, I'm sorry. Any of us who've been in this fight for any length of time understand why a clinical psychologist like himself is so brilliant to our cause. This guy is like king of all kings, okay? He is spreading a message of unity. He is making sure that kids aren't screwed over at the end of the day. And families aren't screwed over when the kids aren't screwed over. So this guy, and oh, by the way, Jessie mentioned he has a supervised visitation. I connected to him on that part because we have such a terrible system here in Colorado, the Carla Center. They get millions of dollars. They do nothing with it. He has a Toby Center that Jessie Weiner mentioned, and I connected to him on that part too. If anybody in any state can help with maybe getting the word out on the Toby Center, I think that's going to be key. He was excited about hearing about Colorado and what I'm trying to do here with as a mediator in supervised visitation. So I think that was key on what he's talking about. That's part of his business. Amazing work. Cheers.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to get back to Brian Lee here because I know that you've got, and you do the Nancy Schaefer rally every single year, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of talk about that. And the Nancy Schaefer rally, we talked about a little bit, obviously, on the second hour of restoring families. And it was just an amazing woman who brought out so much when it came down to CPS and CPS reform and trying to come out on the system because it was and still is absolutely atrocious, taking kids and putting them to foster cares and everything else that goes on with the pedophilia and everything. And she was going to land out a big documentary and a big, huge book in the process before her death. I still think, you still think, I know for sure that this was a murder. This was not a suicide murder.
Oh, there is no question about it. It was indeed a murder. A murder. It wasn't a murder-suicide like the government claims, where the husband supposedly turned a gun on her and then turned it on himself. It just the timeline, one, doesn't add up. Two, the caliber that was pulled from both the bodies were not the same caliber that the husband owned. Not to mention, if somebody's going to commit suicide, they're not going to turn the gun on their chest. One, they're missing the heart because the heart is down here, not up here.
Right.
And two, you're going to give yourself a sucking chest wound, which, yes, you will die from it eventually, but you're going to die from bleeding out, but it's going to be a lot longer than you think it's going to be before you die.
Right.
So yeah, it definitely was not a murder-suicide. It was a direct murder. They even said that the bullet itself was actually fired through a silencer. It had, yeah. So, and that was from the ME.
So we've got a situation, obviously, and like you and I talked, and I suggested if we can come about with a CPS bill that protects children and puts families first completely in this issue, I absolutely 100% believe it should be nicknamed, at the very least, the Nancy Schaefer bill, to honor her.
Agree 100%. Yeah. Speaking of Nancy Schaefer, yes, we did just this past March conduct our 3rd annual here in DC. We are already working on the 4th annual for next year. And we actually just started the GoFundMe. So for those that are listening on Facebook and so forth, if you go to Restoring Families Internet Facebook page, the Internet Radio's Network Facebook page, we do have the link up there for the GoFundMe. We're only asking for about $5,000 because we already have a lot of the equipment, but we still need to get the stage and also the production cost. We actually got an actual DJ, so it's not going to be me DJing on this upcoming year's Nancy Schaefer Rally. I'll be able to enjoy the event a little bit more as the host. And so we're actually having a DJ. One of the guys that was there at the Million Parent March last year, he's actually going to be doing the DJing for us this year. Awesome. So, but we're asking for $5,000. All proceeds will go to stage as well as production costs, as well as to help people get plane tickets, gas money, maybe a hotel room for a night. So, all proceeds goes to the movement. I don't take anything for my own personal use, just like Stephen Ball doesn't take any for his own personal use. It's all used for the movement, and whatever proceeds are left over will go towards the next one.
Yep, and that's exactly how it should be, and I greatly appreciate you putting that on for us, because she does need to be honored, and we do need to look at CPS a little bit closer all the time, because we tend to talk about family court if we go through family court, or we tend to talk about CPS situations if we go through CPS situations, but we have to realize that this is all necessarily the same animal that we're dealing with here. It's a huge system that's
absolutely
killing our kids.
And to put on such events, the cost is outrageous. I know for the Nancy Schaefer Rally this year, I put roughly about $3,000 of my own money to make this event the way it was this year. So I can't do that again on my own money. So I need help from the people. I need help from members of the movement. And, even if it's $5 that you can donate, every bit helps. And I tell you what, you and Larah, you guys were down there in D.C. with us for the Capitals for Kids, and you saw what happened. And to rent a room of that size, Mark said it was $10,000 just to rent that room. We're outside. So, we're trying to be able to get in the grass. We're trying to get the stage. And with the stage, we need the platforms to put on the bottom of the grass, so where the stage is not destroying the grass. So, we still need money in order to make this event work. And like I said, it's going to take the people to do so and to help donate to make this work.
That's exactly right. And I think the other thing, Brian, I want to ask you about real quick is the level of collaboration and everyone so willing. We thought that some people would come in with some egos and here and there. It was none of that, right? It was people who absolutely dropped their egos at the door and were all about collaborating with each other.
Absolutely. I had mentioned to a lot of people prior to the event that we'll be doing the show at 9 on our show, the Restoring Families Internet Network show. And everybody was so, very well appreciative of that. You guys were supposed to do a show that day as well, but something happened to where you guys can't.
Yeah, unfortunately, our internet was going up and it just didn't really work right. And so trying to put something together for a show that we thought was just going to be kind of half done wasn't worthy of putting on. I know that you had a bunch of problems with the system as well, but you got them taken care of, obviously, being.
You're right. We were supposed to start at 9 o'clock, but the problem was we were being hacked.
Yes.
And we tried to go live, we get kicked off, try to go live, get kicked off, try to go live. So we wound up having to end that complete show and literally start from scratch. I had to go through it and create a whole new show under the same platform, and boom, 9:30 we kicked it off and it went without a hitch. But
Awesome.
yes, the unity was so so far together. There was no bitching, there was no arguing. Everyone came together. We all shared our stories, our compassion for what we do, what other people are doing. Yes, we may not agree with what the next person is doing, but ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't mean that we're not going to agree with what they're going to be doing the following week. So,
Right.
Joe, just because you disagree this time doesn't mean you're going to disagree next time.
Right.
So, we must put our egos aside. We must put our children first and say, you know what, whether you agree, whether I agree, whether they agree, we're all working for the same goal.
That's right.
We must take everyone's opinions and suggestions into consideration. Whether you
Yep. Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead at this time, and we're so blessed and pleased because my brother from another mother has joined us now, Mr. Bud Vino. Bud, how are you doing?
Yo, and yo. From another mother, J Money Moss, May 22nd, baby, 2018. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Oh, and I'm so happy to be on with my brother Jay and my sister from another Mister from Florida. And I believe the power forward is on. I hope so.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
baby. I've got so much energy. It's coming right out of every scene. Thanks for having me on. Good to be back. Love you, Jay.
Awesome.
And Jeff.
And we had just an absolutely wonderful time going on down there in DC. Unfortunately, Bud has a lot of different issues physically and couldn't be able to make it. And then he had some other issues going on as well. And he's taking Yeah. But we're hitting it hard right now. And I'm telling you, when it comes down to it, and I can't say, there may be a special surprise guest this evening. Maybe. But I
thought I was it. Oh, that's right. I'm one of the hosts.
Yeah, you are. But I will tell you something. This person was at a very, very important event tonight. And there was, let's just say the most important person in the United States was at that event. And that's all I'm going to leave it as.
The D-bomb.
I saw a little bit of that, Jay. I missed a lot of the show, unfortunately. I'll go back and watch. But I did see some of the news that was going on in the movement today for the people out there fighting. Keep fighting. And I will say, I know we've talked a lot, Jay, about, I'm sure, in today's show about the event that you guys attended, which I've heard nothing but amazing things about, Jay. And everybody represented themselves so well from what I saw.
Mm-hmm. And I will tell you the great thing about this event was normally, like you'll see at different events, and I've been part of some of them, where you've gone to the event and some people will have a little bit of bickering or a little bit of sideshow here, there, and it kind of weighs on the whole thing. Nothing like that took place or transpired at this event. This was about egos being dropped at the door left and right. People working to collaborate, people that were apologizing if somebody took something out of context, people that were saying, hey, it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. Let's look to the future and get this done. It was all about unity and harmony. And I believe Mark Ludwig said it best, as he said this was going to be the Woodstock of the movement. By God, it was. It was.
Yeah. And I remember from, are you reading me okay, Jay?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. From yourself, Jay, there was not one person that I didn't speak to privately who didn't proactively message me, who didn't say that it was amazing, who didn't say it was positive, who wasn't excited and couldn't wait for year number 2. And again, to the people out there, again, I wish I could have been there. I'm very envious. I'm I'm honest enough to let you know that I was jealous. I mean, I saw everybody there, and I wanted to be there, and the energy was amazing.
Yeah, Brian.
I'm sorry, brother.
Brian
You were
said
definitely
yeah.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. It was honestly, I was watching from afar, and I was, man, I wish I could be giving everybody hugs there. I'm so proud of everybody, and it's all coming together, guys. We're doing this together, man, hand in hand, arm in arm. We're doing this.
And this is happening, and I will say that this particular meeting tonight, I told Mark in our board of directors meeting, I said, hey, look, Mark, I can't think of a better person to represent us than you. I really can't.
No, I've said. Well, it's funny, Jay. I said to Allison, I've said before, and just the other night, I said I was watching one of Mark's videos, and I said people often ask, we need a leader, we need this, we need that. I said to Allison, I said, whatever my dynamic is, whatever, Mark's the type of dude that I will follow. You look at me, different personalities, different. It doesn't matter. It's called intestinal fortitude. It's called balls. It's called doing the right thing. And again, I'll follow any man right into the fire that I know is willing to do it with me. And again, Mark Ludwig, for me, is my leader overall in the parental equality movement. It is my sidekick, somebody that I lean on, and I know vice versa. And I couldn't be more proud.
Yeah, definitely proud of him and what he's accomplishing and will accomplish, because it's going to come down the pipe very, very quickly that it might not be 2018 that we get parental equality, but I'll tell you, by God, it's going to be 2019, and it's not going to go further before the walls start tumbling. This is going to come down. So it is your opportunity. It's yours, but it selected you. So get your butt on board anyway. You might as well go with the flow, because this train is moving. Either you can hop on board or you can get run over by it. So.
Right. And Jay, first of all, I want to say, you and I have been talking to, I haven't even heard Jessie's wonderful, beautiful voice. Yes, or Neely.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm going to do that. I want to say too, again, like you said, Jay, and we say all the time, you have two choices, right? If something isn't something we chose, but if something's in front of you, if something is in front of you and you've got to fight it, kick the living shit out of it.
That's exactly right.
That.
And
hello, Jessie and Neely. I love you, ladies. I miss you.
And the great thing about some of the aspects that we've been able to see, just part of our team, we've been very, very lucky and very, very fortunate. There's not really much animosity at all that goes on with our group. So when we saw some of this going on at the event, it was no surprise to us. But like we were surprised that everybody was coming in with that same aspect. It was just like supportive, loving. What can I do to help you? What can I do to help you? It wasn't a what can I do to help me? It wasn't a give me information. I need help. It was more of a what can I do to help you?
Yeah, and it's the same thing, you hear people all the time, Jay, oh, it's nothing but negative. I don't know how we can get out of a negative place. Well, it's the same with positivity. You don't allow the negative. You become so positive, so motivated that a negative is out of place there. It's just like, certain personalities. If you're genuine, that negative sort of attitude and things like that, it won't have any place there. And somebody like that will be uncomfortable, won't even be there, or still hopefully switch themselves around. It sounds like, I said, some people might have done, but I mean, like I said, it was a beautifully done event, and it seemed very well put together, and everybody got a lot out of it.
Definitely will, and I'll be cutting up and splicing some of that video so we can get kind of clips of different stuff going on down the road. We'll try and do another show in reference to that. I want to be able to have that opportunity, and I want to have that opportunity to make sure that I'm catching great little sound bites. One of the great sound bites that I heard, number one, Yahya McClain was just, and then
I've heard a lot of good things about Yahya there. Yeah,
there's no other words to say phenomenal.
That were made throughout that show is actually going to be my next T-shirt.
Yes, and Yahya.
Jessie's got her T-shirts going. I love it. She's got a new T-shirt for us.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh, I know.
And you know what? It's so cheap and it's so catchy. But one of the statements is mothers have rights to their children, but fathers have to fight for it. So that's my next T-shirt, and it's going to be like one of those big circles with a line through it. The big red circles with the line. And that's going to be on my next t-shirt because that message to me was so powerful. And Chris Emmanuel was there, and I love Chris. I met him in Alabama years ago, and we just totally connected and took off, and we stay in contact regularly over time. But when I told him that, he's a very empowering man in this movement. He's very Christ-led, you know, he's a God-fearing man. I mean, he shut down the entire South Carolina adoption system on a biracial adoption. I mean, he goes above and beyond all statistical, you know, events out there. So he is, I mean, he's just near and dear to my heart. I love Chris. And, in commemoration of what him and I discussed, that's my next t-shirt in short.
Yeah, it looks like you're breaking up there a little bit, but definitely we want to be able to real quick here give Brian Lee a plug for restoring families there, internet radio. So go ahead and give it a plug real quick, brother.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, we do our shows every Thursday and Sunday. Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m., which are open mics. On Sundays is from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time. Now, all this is Eastern time. Here on the East Coast. So definitely tune in. You can go to our Facebook page, just type in Restoring Families Internet Radio Network, RFIRN, and you'll be able to find us. Boom. You click on us, like us, you know, keep an eye on our Facebook page. We're posting all of our shows on there, all the links to all of our shows. You can even go back and listen to other shows as well. You know, we are also selling shirts, Nancy Schaefer shirts. We actually got one that we just finished creating and posted out there for everybody. They are $25. That includes shipping and handling. So if you want to get a shirt, you know, please go to our Facebook page, look up the shirt. It's literally, it's got the front and back. All it is, it says up on the front here, it says June to March, to when the year that she was born to the year she died. It's got a big picture on the front with Nancy Schaefer, her name on the bottom. On the back, it's got the famous quote that she spoke about. Don't ask me to quote it because without it, but it's there.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Bud Vino here again. Thanks for coming on. I'll say to people up there.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, people go up there, tune into Restoring Families. It's just like certain foods. You know, certain people might not like the way Far From Normal tastes. Some people might not like the way Restoring Families. My point is, go in and get empowered and educated any way you can. I implore you to go on and listen to Restoring Families Radio with Brian Lee and everybody else there. If we're not your flavor, maybe they are, or both. Again, it's all about getting as much as you possibly can of being empowered, and they've been doing it for a long time, too. So definitely Restoring Families Internet Radio, go there and check them out.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bunny.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll say Jesse West Sr., we love Jesse West Sr.
I heard. Awesome. I heard nothing but positive about Jesse. I mean, everybody, all my Jesse West I met him. What a great. That's probably 4 different people said I never met him. How awesome was he? Go ahead, Jay.
And Jesse was telling me about a vacation that he had, and him and his mom were telling me about this, and there were slushies, and there were 25 different flavors of slushies, and they were all alcoholic adult slushies. And it was a shop like that. Well, it doesn't matter if you like tequila sunrise or you like pina colada.
There was something there, right?
Watching. Dad's can too. Absolutely. Thank you, Laura.
Well, dads can too. And I say all the time, there's certain people that just reach certain people. I mean, there's certain people that Jay Moss might reach, Jesse might reach, I might reach, and then there's people that Brian Lee might reach. It's all about empowering yourself to keep fighting, to never quit, to get there. Again, we're all in this together. So I implore people all the time when they ask me, hey, should I start this? Hey, if it empowers you, think it's going to help you and other people? More power to you. So the more the merrier, because it's all about that.
Right. And it's all about getting the word out too. And I applaud Brian and Stephen for what they're doing, and we applaud, Kirk's Law Corner and all of those
Absolutely.
people out there.
Absolutely. And Chris Hallett. Brother Hallett and I were joking. Yeah, just before this I came on. I love you, Chris.
and it's all about it doesn't matter. And Philly Slim and I had this conversation. It does not matter whether or not I'm getting 5K this week or you get the 5K next week or whoever it is. What matters is we're getting the word out. We're getting the word out, and we want people to join and realize they're affected whether they know it or not.
Right.
Well, the good thing is that there are different platforms. You guys are on Facebook.
Right.
My show's not on Facebook because we actually play music during our breaks.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
Philly Slim is giving us the opportunity. He's creating commercials for us. We're going to have WLINY and iRadio USA. They're going to be creating commercials for us.
Right.
I'm working on more commercials as well. So, yeah, you know, because of that, Facebook, if we play the music, they're going to kick us off Facebook no matter what.
That's one thing I will say. That's one thing I will say when we get more incorporated, Jay. I can't wait to get music back. That was a nice aspect of it. But again, again, like Brian said, I mean, there's different platforms. So, you know, for everybody, there's always something out there for someone.
Right.
Different flavors.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to say thank you to Brian Lee and Larah Thomson. We're going to get here into our ending part of the show here. So thank you guys for joining us. Yeah.
If I can say one more thing, again, if people want to donate to help with the Nancy Schaefer rally for 2019, they can go to our Facebook page. I will actually send you the link here. Give me about 10 minutes, and I'll send you the link so you can post to your page. Yes. And you get the word out there. Like I said, we're trying to raise $5,000 for this upcoming year to get the grand stage and get other equipment and also production to help people get out to the event, to and from the event, get hotels, etc. So if you want to help donate, you know, even a little bit, you know, helps. Like I said, we're trying to raise $5,000 for next year. So if they want to, go to Restoring Families Internet Radio Network's Facebook page. You know, we'll send it to you here in a moment, Jay. You know, but thank you guys for coming on the show with us on Sunday and collaborating with us. You know, that's what we need. That's what needs to happen.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Larah Thomson. And Larah, where can people find you at as well?
Love you, Larah.
I want to get in contact with you for different.
I'm in Colorado, obviously. They can contact me at my name, larahthomson@gmail.com. I have a company. It's a mediation practice. But more importantly, please contact me on Facebook. My name, LARAHTHOM for Mary, SON for Nelly, @gmail.com. But, you know, just before I go, why are people so unkind? Let's stand up for our kids. It's only about our kids. Please. And if you know an alienator, speak out. Just like it's child abuse, please speak out against alienation. This is emotional harm and abuse. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you, Larah. Thank you, Larah.
Bye.
100.
Larah on hold there. Awesome. So awesome show here. And I want to talk about things down the line here. And it looks like, unfortunately, we haven't had Mark on, but I'm sure he will be, and we can get some updates with him. And he'll be posting those on Americans Free.
You would. Yeah, you would think Mark was like doing important things in Washington or something. I don't know what he thinks.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He is. Oh, wait. Well, he is. So there you go. He's busy.
There you go.
Mark, again, be as busy as you possibly can be. We'll still be here.
Yep. And definitely, we're going to test out the system tonight when we have our video later. We've recreated the video for the ending of the broadcast. So we're going to test Facebook out just a little bit because this is uncopywritten music, but we want to see because there is lyrics to it. So if they shut us down.
Jay likes to push. If they shut us down, we're going to post that Public Enemy song. Like, shut them down, shut them down, and shut them down. Yeah, baby. Keep trying to shut us down. We're going to keep coming. This big mouth will never shut up.
Awesome.
Listen.
Big red cup.
Are the Ya-Ya, the band that you're talking about, did he do a documentary called Casualties of War?
Yeah.
Casualties of War.
Casualties of War.
Okay.
And Casualties of War, I'm going to pause that here. Casualties of War is a documentary, and it really goes over different particular topics, different people, individuals. One of those being I'm not sure if it's in there. I'm going to have to watch it later. But I know one of the people that were interviewed at the time when they were doing interviews was Dominic Tomasello, unfortunately. And we kind of talked briefly about Dominic, and I had a lot of interpersonal relationship with Dominic Tomasello, and we'd have late night talks and talk on the phone until wee hours in the morning in reference to radio and different things. He was always kind of pushing me a little bit to get into radio, and so when the thing happened and we got with Neil Shelton and Randy Davis, and they offered us a show, it was completely Dominic kind of speaking through that, and first person I asked, Mr. Bud Vino, and we've never looked back. Yeah, Bud.
No, and Dominic was somebody I used to call him my Italian brother, and he was the same way when I first started doing videos before he passed. He had seen a lot of them, and I had known he had done the radio stuff too, and he had said something about he pushed me too. He said, "Man, you got some talent. Keep doing what you're doing." I said, "Thanks, brother." He gave me a lot of encouragement like that. I didn't know him as well as you did. I would call him again. We'd call each other our Italian brothers and give me motivation every now and again. And I know you knew him too. Definitely somebody who pushed us both and who empowered us both. And so we give a shout out and rest in power, Dominic. We love you, brother. Still fighting. We're all human. We all make mistakes. I heard a lot about that too. All these things about him. That's we all put our pants on the same way. And for me, he did a lot more good than a lot of people that are still alive. So there you go.
And there's still definitely a whole lot of questions into his death. So we won't get into those legal aspects of what's going on behind the scenes on that one. I do still keep in touch with every once in a while with Tamara and
I see that she posts. I haven't seen in a while through his account every now and again. So.
Right. And you know, so what we do and how we do what we do all came about by happenstance, but as they say, Bud, everything happens for a reason.
Right.
You know, even this weekend when you didn't go, everything always happens for a reason.
Right.
And I believe Mark just sent me 2 photos in the board of
Oh,
directors.
I see. Here, I see him sending something. Yeah, same time.
And wow. I can't reveal those yet. So
we'll not yet.
Those. Yeah, not yet.
We know something you don't know.
but yeah, when we get into some of the aspects of where people are when they're in particular places, and that we probably shouldn't say, we're not gonna say, just to protect everything, and that's how we do things.
Well, Jay, I'm gonna blow the top. I'm gonna say it. Never mind. I'm not gonna.
I think the other aspect of the protection is to continue to empower our individuals at a state level to fight. You know, I think we have 2 entities here at the moment. You know, we have Americans for Equal Share Parenting, which is more at a federal level, right? And then they connect with groups at a state level, which is so important. You know, Mark spoke multiple times this weekend about empowering our groups at the state level to continue to fight, to continue to unite, to meet with legislators, to meet with delegation meetings, to continue to propose legislation. You know, Jeremy, he walked us through the exact steps on how to do that. You know, and this is the other aspect that I really want to put forth tonight. So Americans for Equal Share Parenting is an amazing group, and Mark has he has paved the way for federal reform of Title 4D funding. Absolutely, without a doubt. There's no man in our movement who knows more, at least that I know of the Constitution than Mark Ludwig. And he's attacking this at a federal level, but it is still so very important for us to remain active and united and in a one direction, you know, front on passing legislation within each individual state for the presumption of equal time sharing. And you know, we cannot lose focus of that. We can't lose momentum. We have to continue to build upon this. You know, founders like Tom Fiddler, who I was so blessed to finally meet face to face this weekend.
Yeah.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. I felt like I was in the presence of a freaking
I have been gushing too. I'm sorry. It's been so long. I feel like a teenage girl.
No. It's just, And, you know, Mark and I have talked multiple times throughout the year in a personal and professional level, and just this weekend was completely different. And this movement is taking a different initiative, and we need to embrace that. We need to move forward with groups that are willing to fight for rebuttable presumption of equal time sharing with both parents. That's it.
Exactly.
We need to let certain groups that are aimed at doing the federal Title 4D funding to attack that, and then continue on the state level with our individual groups. Because if we lose momentum and we attempt to shift and transpose and reinvent the wheel, as Mark said it, we're going to fail.
Yeah,
we're going to fail miserably.
That's exactly right. And I would say the way that Mark was saying it in proportion, if you want to spend $5, spend $4 at your local level, give $1 to the federal level or the upper organization of Americans for Equal Share Parenting. Give the $4 to your local organization who needs it more. That they're getting in there and they're trying to do events. They're trying to bring focus locally to get those bills passed and get them together and work with people and build a coalition of people. That's how we're going to have to fix this issue, is by doing it mostly at the local level, and Americans for Equal Share Parenting will be there to support on the upper rim of how do we do certain things and how we do them. That was an amazing aspect here. And I want to go ahead and get in at this time to our shout outs. And as always, I'm going to let Bud Vino go first this week. Bud.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, Jay, May 22nd, 2018. It's been a short one for me, but I'm glad I came on. It gets me all ready for next week. The coming shows, it's kind of after the rally, this is kind of the second half, so to speak, where we keep the momentum, keep pushing, as Jessie said, keep the pressure on.
We are.
Yeah, absolutely. Honored to be on with you guys as usual. Jay Moss, Jessie Weiner, Neely Petrie, Peter, the real deal, McNeil, and everybody out there on the board. Thank you very much to our listeners. Thank you. We love you. Keep your chins up. To my biggest, bestest buddy, Carter, I love you. Daddy loves you. To my little asbestos Mason, same thing. Daddy loves you more than life itself. To my wife, I love you, baby. Thank you so much for everything you've done for a dozen years for me. Hopefully we'll have more than a dozen more. Everybody out there, keep your chins up. It isn't over until you say, hey, it's over. And I didn't hear a bell. Keep fighting, keep pushing, keep rocking and rolling. We'll see you next Tuesday, baby, 8 o'clock Eastern time, far from normal. Thank you, guys.
Oh, and he got the whip again. All right.
I'm loving it tonight, baby.
Jessie.
So shout out to all the guys and girls I met in DC. You know, each and every one of you. Neely, your hair looks beautiful tonight. I love it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for saying that, Sarah. Yes.
Shout out always to Jay and Bud, who brought me on the show. And shout out to my husband. I was so happy to see him last night when he picked me up at the airport. And I kind of even got giddy like a schoolgirl. It had been so long since I saw him. It was weird. I know. And to my family who sits with me through this fight, and to each and every person I met at this symposium this weekend, keep doing it, because what we're doing is right, and it's just, and it's for our kids, and it's what we need. And I didn't need any signal. I'm just out.
All right.
Awesome.
You still gonna get the parrot anyway. All right. So, Neely.
Shout out to Mackenzie, Isabella, and Adriana. Mommy loves you so much, and I do what I do because of you every single day, and I push forward because of you. Shout out to Donald Trump. Shout out to my president. I love him to death. Shout out to God above. Without God, nothing is possible. Shout out to all of you viewers watching now. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Without you, we wouldn't be able to let other parents know and let other people know what's going on and the corruption that's going on. Shout out to my Far From Normal radio show family. I love you guys. Thank you for being there. I really wanted to be in there.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Hey,
Jay.
she got the horse there so this time.
But before we go, Jay, I want to tell the listeners out there that might be down, that might be hurting, that might be on one knee, who have let people and allowed people to treat them like this, that might be alien. You don't give up. Get on your feet. On your feet, soldier. And there's some point in life where you allowed people to wave a finger in your face until you were nothing. Rocky Balboa, right? Same thing. Or don't give up. Let them remember who you are and regret ever taking your name lightly. Keep fighting. Never stop. It ain't over till you say it's over. I said it before, Jay, and I'll say it again. Somebody hits you, you spit blood, look at them and laugh. You keep doing what's right, baby, and never stop. Ever.
That's exactly right, brother. I want to definitely thank Larah Thomson and Brian Lee for coming on tonight. Amazing stuff, working in collaboration with people. I can't even say enough here about the people that were there in DC. Big shout out to Mark Ludwig. Big shout out to Dr. Tori J. Big shout out to Melissa Isaac, who has all joined our board of directors. So we're very pleased about that. And definitely want to say a big thank you to Jessie West, Senior. He was obviously Dad's Can Too, amazing guy. Illinois for Equal Share Parenting, Chad Loudermilk. I want to definitely thank those guys. Definitely want to thank my Far From Normal radio show fam. Had a great time. And I'm going to reveal a picture probably next week. This picture is of a FFN staff member snoring so loud that the people had to,
it wasn't me. It wasn't
knock
me.
on my door and say, "Is something going on?"
Oh, that's classic. I haven't heard this story. Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was awesome staying with Pete. He was a great guy.
Well, I knew it was either Pete or Jess.
Yeah, no, it was Pete. No, I'm in the same room with Jess. So Pete. Yeah, definitely. So actually, I think you were on a completely different floor, weren't you? You were like on 3, and I was.
Well, hey,
2.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say that was a lot. That's a loud store, Jay. Yeah, I bet.
We were all over this hotel. In fact, Mark Ludwig even had his own secret room that nobody really even knew.
Oh. Alcove. It was like he was the president.
Wow.
He was in the tunnel.
Yeah,
you've made it when you have a secret room inside of a secret room. You know you've made it.
It was like it was a secret room inside of a secret room. We had to put our suitcases in there before we went to the Capitol building. So big shout out to Mark Ludwig, all the awesome people out there. Big shout out to you. And when we play this video, you're going to hear a song called Heroes. And there'll be definitely a bunch of photos of ourselves and those in DC, but each and every one of you is a hero to your children. And I want to make sure that I say that before we go off the air here. So keep fighting, keep in the fight. Like we always say on the Far From Normal radio show, you are important, you are loved, and you are cared about. God bless.
Chins up. Yeah.
You look so beautiful.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.